Hi everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to show you some new movie finds that I got lately. These happen to be all Blu-ray upgrades. I'm not yet into 4K. I suspect that eventually I'm going to wind up having no choice but to start some 4K discs. But for now, I want to show you what I've got. Some of these are upgrades and some of them may be brand new, first time entries to my collection. All right, so first off, this is definitely an upgrade. This is the box set 80th anniversary Blu-ray edition of the Abbott and Costello films for Universal Studios. And this is really a nice looking Blu-ray box upgrade from, let's see, is it Shout Factory. And they do really good work. And over here, you get a book. This replaces a DVD trunk set. It's a box of DVD versions of the films. And of course, there were books and things in that too. I think one book like this. And without showing you everything here, you get the picture. Just history of the films and so forth. But I like how compact these are. The DVD set is a huge box, trunk as they call it. And here you got the 3 volumes in there. I mean, the artwork isn't anything special, but you have from 1940 to 43, you have the movies from that era there, discs 1 to 5. That's kind of how they're presented. So they flip like that. You have 2 movies per disc. Then you have 1944, I'm getting ahead of myself, 1944 to 49, discs 6 to 10. Same kind of style with the discs. You can see the movie advertisements there. And finally, from 1950 to 55, you've got discs 11 to 15. In the market for more Abbott and Costello upgrades on Blu-ray. Some of the standalone ones like Dance With Me Henry and The Noose Hangs High, although The Noose Hangs High seems to be a little too expensive. Here's another Abbott and Costello upgrade, and I'm going to say that term loosely because I was very disappointed in this. I didn't watch the whole movie yet, but I definitely watched like the first 20 minutes or so for now, just to see the quality. I was very disappointed with this one. Classic Flicks Restoration, 70th Anniversary, Jack and the Beanstalk, the first color film by Abbott and Costello. And I got to tell you, man, the guys here do great jobs with these things. I love what they did with the Little Rascals, Our Gang films. They look fantastic from classic flicks, and there was a really good restoration done of the Abbott and Costello movie Africa Screams, which looked really incredible. But this, to me, there was a lot of networking of grain and distortion, a little fuzziness in the color image here. The beginning of the film was in sepia tone, like The Wizard of Oz was, and the sepia tone parts are really smooth and nice looking. But boy, when it gets to the color, I don't know. I mean, I tried calibrating my set differently, playing around with the contrast and the brightness, and trying to play with the sharpness to try to like kind of I don't know what the word is, flatten out a lot of that busyness around the images, but had a hard time. Anyway, but I should say there are tons and tons, and I mean tons of extra features on here, and I watched a lot of the extra features. A great version of Who's on First from 1940, never before seen this particular version of that. And Abbott and Costello Meet the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and just really a lot of stuff on here. There's so many extras I can't tell you, and that was worth it. This is an upgrade from Indicator, a Blu-ray of one of my favorite 1970s films, Hardcore, and I'll eventually be doing a video just about this. It's George C. Scott as a very religious and conservative dad who finds out that his daughter has run away and joined the porn industry, and he's trying to find her. It's a really good movie. Here's an upgrade. Bela Lugosi in Mark of the Vampire, the Todd Browning film. This is a film I just did a video review of. If you want to check out my review, it should be the video just before this one. Not hard to find at all. It's an upgrade of the Frank Langella version of Dracula from 1979. I tell you all about my thoughts on this particular version in that video I mentioned. All right, this one here, collection, 4 films, sci-fi from the vault. Here we get films: The Creature with the Atom Brain, 20 Million Miles to Earth, It Came from Beneath the Sea, and The 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock. 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock on this Blu-ray is actually Lou Costello's solo. It's the only film, I believe, that Costello made without Bud Abbott. And that's the main reason I got this, to tell you the truth. This is yet another upgrade, and hopefully the last time I'll ever have to upgrade these. The only way I'll upgrade these films is if somehow Columbia Pictures does a major restoration and takes out every dot. The quality on these is a lot better than what we've had. They're basically Boris Karloff's so-called Mad Doctor series. This is the 3rd time I'm buying these 6 films. He did 6 films, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 films. And it's not just Boris Karloff in here. Another reason I bought it has Bela Lugosi and The Return of the Vampire. You can see Lugosi down there in the bottom. And it also has a film called 5, which I've never really heard of, I don't think. And yeah, I already looked at the Karloff films, and they're definitely upgrades as far as the great high definition quality goes. But the prints themselves, they have their share of specks and marks here and there, but it's definitely worth getting for that. Here is a film that's interesting, another Dracula film. This is a Spanish production called Count Dracula. Christopher Lee was in it. And it's directed by Jess Franco, who to me was a horrible director. I'm sorry. However, this is probably his best film as far as directing goes. And I haven't seen this in a long time. This is an upgrade from Severin films, and I think it was called El Conde Dracula originally. But what's really notable about this film is that this is the closest, at the time anyway, 1970, that they ever paid attention to Bram Stoker's book. They try to make this really like the book, and that's what I like about it. Here's a 1985 winner, Fright Night, one of the best modern era of that time to me. Vampire films and horror films in general. Fright Night, starring Roddy McDowall, and it's very good. Okay, here's an upgrade again. How many times? Another film I've upgraded 3 or 4 times. Day of the Dead, George Romero's 3rd film in his zombie trilogy, and it's good to have another upgrade of that. I hope this is the last time I'm going to buy this, but then again, if I become a 4K addict, there's going to be a problem. I'm a Charlton Heston fan and collector of all his work, so I never saw this movie, but I picked it up, The Secret of the Incas, which I have never seen before, and I'm wondering how it's going to be. It's a color film, 1954. Now, recently, a friend of mine made me some free DVD-R copies of the following 3 horror films. I enjoyed them enough, I got a kick out of them enough to want to own them, so I got them. The first one being Terrifier, and I did a video on this. Please check it out, a video review fairly recently. And this is pretty intense gore and blood, so if you're not into really serious blood and gore, don't watch it, but you might want to see the review anyway. And that, of course, is followed by Terrifier 2, which is also bloody, disgusting, and gory, but there's a little bit more character development and story in this one, so it's a little better. But I also did a review of this. If you want to check out my reviews, you could see all about Terrifier 2. And I also did a review of this film here, which I really surprisingly thought was good. And it's a new horror film called Smile from 2022. I recommend this one. Check out my review that I just did of it, and I like it. It says here, certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes. It's kind of interesting there. So, and finally for this batch, and there'll be another batch coming. I have more that I'm not going to show all together in one video. I'm talking about the sequel to Orphan, called Orphan First Kill. I've never seen this. I really enjoyed the first Orphan film. I think that was from 2009. I think Time really flies. And it was one of the modern horror films I thought was pretty good. And I'm interested to see the follow-up here. So that's it for this edition. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be getting more content on my movie channel, here. And if you like music, and in particular the Beatles, perhaps, check out my other channel. It's called Mean Mr. Mayo. Mean Mr. Mayo is a play on the Beatles song Mean Mr. Mustard. Get it? So thank you all for watching. Talk soon.